Mr. Speaker, my question to the Premier. When the NDP came to power over 13 years ago, there were few, if any, flood evacuees. Today, almost 2,000 people are still evacuated almost 2 years after the flood of 2011, and they're unable to return home, of course, many still living in costly hotels. Why has the government stalled the return of people to Lake St. Martin by purchasing low-lying land, which the people of Lake St. Martin didn't ask for, and failing to purchase the land they have asked for so they can build a new community?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The member raises an important question about why people continue to be displaced, and it is a matter of great concern to all of us in this legislature. We are working closely with that community to ensure that they get land that is safer for them, that they have a community that is viable for the future, that they can withstand the kinds of events that we saw in 2011, unprecedented flooding in that part of Manitoba. We are going to and have already invested in infrastructure, notably the channel that reduces the volume of water on that lake. It's reduced it by over 3 feet in the last year alone, as well as on Lake Manitoba. We will continue to work closely with them to buy land that meets their needs for long-term safe housing, as well as other needs they have. They are interested in resources as well that will allow them to have greater economic opportunities. So we will continue to work with them until we resolve that matter to the satisfaction of all parties, the First Nation community itself, and of course the two levels of government involved, the federal and provincial government.
The Premier could have done better. You know, the Lake St. Martin is still a foot above the operating range, which was now, and it was confirmed recently in the reports. So they haven't done very much. When the NDP came to power 13 years ago, there were more than 1,000 homes in northern Manitoba without running water, a basic human right. Today, there are still more than 1,000 homes in northern Manitoba without clean running water. How much money will the NDP commit this year to retrofitting homes so this significant human rights issue can be addressed?
Again, I appreciate the question from the member opposite, because when he was a member of the federal cabinet, he had the opportunity to directly invest in sewer and water and facilities for people in those First Nations communities that are under the federal jurisdiction. We will work with those communities. We are working with those communities. Over 100 homes have been currently retrofitted. We've made a commitment to provide training and skills upgrades for those people so that they can have the permanent ability to protect those homes and ensure they have adequate services. We, of course, have discussed this on a regular basis and are seeing some additional investment from the federal government. We want to move forward on that. People should be able to live in a home with proper sewer and water. We will certainly do our part. I only wish the member would have done his part when he was a member of the federal cabinet.
Mr. Speaker, when I was a member of the federal cabinet, Ontario came to us with an agreement, a partnership, and it was funded. But the Manitoba government never came. Where was the Premier missing in action? My question to the Premier: when the NDP came to power, concerns over Lake Winnipeg status were just beginning. In 2003, the Premier's NDP government said that in 2 or 3 years, they'd have Lake Winnipeg well on its way to recovery. But the NDP's allowed delay after delay, so that now Lake Winnipeg's the most threatened lake on the planet. 2 years ago, this NDP government committed to reduce the amount of phosphorus going into Lake Winnipeg by 50%. I ask the Premier, what proportion of that 50% reduction has been achieved as of right now?
I appreciate the question from the member opposite, because reducing phosphorus loading in Lake Winnipeg is fundamental to its long-term survival. We did have Dr. Levitt with his report that recommended that we bring in stricter regulations, which we've done against quite significant resistance from the official opposition. We've for example, banned winter spreading of manure on land in areas of sensitive land areas. We've required higher standards for sewer and water upgrades with respect to our major municipalities, including the City of Winnipeg. We've brought in a phosphorus ban on products, detergents and soaps that are used in Manitoba, a concept that has now been adopted Canada-wide. Manitoba continues to find ways to move forward to reduce phosphorus loading on Lake Winnipeg, including a very innovative cattail project which takes phosphorus out of the water, harvests the cattails and grows new crops to reduce phosphorus loading in the future. We are very seized of this matter. We'll continue to move forward on it. We look forward to support from the members opposite as we take additional initiatives in the future, Mr. Speaker.